Hi, classmates. I'm aware that some of you may know me, but for those of you who do not, my name is Ashley Crawford. I have been a student at Mid-America Christian University since the beginning of this year. I enrolled in my first course in February and have been attending ever since, and I've loved just about every second. Today, I am here to discuss with you drug addiction and options and what is addiction and how we got here today and what we can do going forward and what are some things that you can do to get out there and change the way we are seeing this crisis today. So, crisis is defined as a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. I, along with maybe thousands in the world, do believe that we have seen an opiate crisis in the United States. So how did this crisis come about? How did we get here? In the late 1990s, companies came together and they decided that prescribing these particular drugs would not be addictive. However, that was not the case, and as we're coming to find out more so today, these drugs are very, very addictive and have taken lives. On average, 115 people die a day from overdosing on prescription opiates that have been prescribed to them by doctors. 4 to 6% of those abused users typically move on to abuse other drugs like heroin. I can say that my sister was a part of that 4 to 6% who went on from abusing opiate drugs to heroin and even more drugs since then. I'm here today to let those of you know who do not know there are other options out there available for you. Addiction can happen to anyone. Addiction is not prejudice. It does not pick or choose. I do know that there are some people who have a chemical in their brain. It is called dopamine. And the lower your dopamine is, the higher chances you have of becoming a drug addict. I do think it's very, very important for people to be aware of this fact. Because, you go to the doctor for a broken leg or a broken foot or after a surgery, and the doctor is going to prescribe you medication. If you are not careful, you are highly liable to become addicted to that medication. I do think that it would be better for the world to be informed and to know what increases your chances of addiction, how can I stop addiction, what other options for pain relief do I have. Another thing that really increases your likelihood of addiction is trauma. Whether this be physical trauma, which is like I described earlier, breaking your arm, surgery, or whether it be trauma from childhood. For instance, for me or necessarily my sister, it was my father walking out on us when we were really young, and he had a history of drug abuse and would abuse substance drugs constantly. So I believe my sister seen that, picked up on that behavior, and chose her route. But I'm here to tell you that we do have other options today. Earlier in the year, in 2017, we started seeing more CBD oil and cannabis oil places pop up. Cannabis oil is extracted from the cannabis plant, contains little to no THC, and is used to stress relief as well as pain relief. I do believe that doctors should start encouraging their patients to go this route as opposed to the opiate route. It is less addictive. You cannot get addicted to this. It does not do any harm or physical harm to your body, your organs, anything like that. Another thing that they have recently introduced to us this year actually is, especially in Oklahoma, we voted on medical marijuana. I do know that this, however, is still a drug, and there have been a few cases where people think they might be able or get addicted to this, but I do not believe, or from the research I have seen, that you can become addicted to THC or marijuana or even CBD. So I just want to encourage all of you, next time you go to your doctors, next time your kid gets hurt or your aunt or uncle, anyone you know who is given the choice to be prescribed on painkillers or not, that they choose the or not route and go with CBD oil, cannabis oils, Tylenol, other less addictive drugs. We really have a crisis in the United States that I really feel it just takes one person, we could address this and get this corrected and fixed.